really do. I still remember all the shit to that show. Anyway, how's it going, everyone? Justin Crumley here with the Cujo Productions channel, and I'm not alone. I have a guest. You guys remember the hell that I used to call you? My brother from another mother, the living legend himself, the Josh Thompson.
How you doing, guys? Nice to be on again.
Oh God.
It's my understanding we're going to be talking about some playoff football today.
Yeah, we're doing the divisional round this coming weekend. I just happened to be in your house. No special reason, just kicked the door open and just kind of sat down and we started doing this. This is going to be completely uncut. I'm not going to edit like anything. Well, I mean, I'm going to switch the pictures up, but as far as the audio goes, you guys are going to hear kind of everything unless something goes like horrifically wrong. So
just get totally tired of listening to me.
Yeah, all right. Well, there you go. The image on the screen. These are the playoff matchups. We're going to talk about New England, Houston, Seattle, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Green Bay and Dallas in that particular order. Maybe not. I don't remember what order I put them in. I think I did by the way the games are being played, and I'm not sure if... I think Houston, New England play first. I'm not sure. Whatever. We're going to talk about that first. Let's talk about Houston, New England. Is there really a lot to talk about here? I mean...
Realistically, when we look at this game, more than likely, this is going to be probably the least eventful game of the group.
It's going to be... On paper, this should be a bloodbath. I mean, yeah, Houston had, like, the number one defense, but... I mean,
they had the number one defense, huh?
Apparently, yeah.
Wow, I haven't checked
here's
the
the
stats
thing, though. Here's the
recently,
thing,
so.
and I'm not saying this because I'm a Pats fan, but New England's defense played some good football, especially after Jamie Collins got traded. I mean, the first game without him, they kind of sucked. They struggled against Seattle, and everyone was like, bargain bill, and then over the weeks, you see guys like Shane McClellan really step up. He had a blocked field goal against Justin Tucker and the Ravens, which was Justin Tucker's first miss of the whole year. And from that point on, New England's defense they played better. Kyle Van Noy played some good football, except for the game against Miami, which he blew cover. And I got bitched at about on Facebook about that. But, let's talk about the spread. The spread is apparently, I think last I checked, it was 17.
It just seems a little ridiculous for me for playoff football.
Yeah, for playoff football, that's a tad bit.
That especially when you think about if Houston's defense is really as as stout as they are claiming, even going against a New England offense, you wouldn't expect a 17-point spread.
No, I don't know.
Since New England is so favored, though, I kind of want to go into the fact that if Houston wants to win this game, they're going to have to be able to score, and that's where the issue comes in. Is Brock starting, or Brock is starting?
Brock is starting.
So then Houston's going to be living. It's going to live and die on how well Brock Osweiler plays this game.
Pretty much, and that's the thing. Houston signed him to a 4-year, $72 million contract, and he has
too much money. Yeah,
too much money for a quarterback who had 6 starts. Can you scream bad contract any louder? The kid. I'm not saying he's got no future at all, but yeah, if he has a bad game, then Houston's screwed. There's no way they're gonna be able to rely completely on their defense. They got to put up points.
Well, and let's be real here. If Brock Osweiler can't play a good football game, then that means that New England can feel free to put 8 in the box all day long.
Oh, yeah.
And that means that Lamar Miller will not be able to run, and they won't score anyway. So they literally live and die about how their quarterback plays, because if they can't open up the passing game, they become one-dimensional, and Bill Belichick will pick on teams.
Absolutely. So. It's interesting to note, though, that Vince Wilfork is on Houston, Romeo Crennel is on the staff, and so is Mike Vrabel. And Bill O'Brien is their head coach. I mean, a lot of New England alumni there. So that's kind of interesting. At the end of the day, I'm taking New England.
Me too.
I don't think Houston wins this at all. So, all right, moving on. All right, next up we have the Seahawks and the Falcons. This This is going to be a lot of fun to watch. There's some bad blood between these teams from what happened earlier in the season. You remember the Richard Sherman pass interference that wasn't called?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think Atlanta's going to remember that. And you have Matt Ryan coming off of a potential MVP season. I mean, this is going to be a fun game to watch. I mean, Seattle's no slouch. They played a great game against Detroit. There were some blown calls. I've heard it. I'm not gonna get into that because it's just fucking stupid at this point. But this is gonna be a lot of fun because even without Earl Thomas, I still think Seattle has a stable defense. It's just obviously Earl Thomas is a big missing factor, and I don't know how good of a cornerback Shed. I think his name is Shed. I don't know how good he is. I haven't.
Well, either way, we know that Sherman's going to be lined up against Julio.
Oh,
which is going to be fun to watch.
That's going to be fun to watch.
But if we're being honest, I think Julio wins that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Julio's one of the hardest guys to cover.
He is definitely in the top 3 for best receivers.
Oh, yeah. Sherman.
Between him and
Antonio Brown.
And OBJ.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to deny. Julio Jones he's one of the best. I mean,
and Julio is the biggest of the 3 of those men. You really don't think he's going to go over the top on Sherman? I don't think there's quite anyone that can jump up with him.
I don't think so either. I will say Sherman being one of the best corners. This is a matchup that we're going to be. I'm hoping we're talking, and not just because some bad controversial no call. I want to see something good come out of this. I want to see a great game, and I think we're going to get that. Like I said, Matt Ryan coming off of an MVP type season. I mean,
which I think is going to keep going. I think he's going to keep playing.
Oh yeah,
that way.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling
and another thing,
he's going to show up.
Another storyline. Elephant in the room. Thomas Rawls. Where the hell has he been all year, man? Last week, he ran all over the Lions, and that's the thing I use on Lions fans, and I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but when I went on Facebook after the game, everyone's like, refs fucked us over, bad calls.
There was a
couple... Bad calls, fucked us over bad, refs blew the game, bad calls.
I mean, let's be real, there were bad calls, and you can't deny that, but that being the difference maker is definitely
here's the thing, though. I saw a couple of calls that Detroit got away with. I did. I saw a helmet-to-helmet that Detroit got away with.
I don't know about
there were calls that Detroit got away with. This isn't fucking, And I'm just saying, there were bad calls. Let's take those bad calls out. I still think Detroit loses the game. I don't think the refs decided that one. It wasn't like last year. Was it last year? No, 2 years ago when Dallas, that pass interference. Oh. That was a major game changer. Yeah. That was ridiculous. I will say, though, that's another situation where I don't know why Caldwell didn't snap the ball on 4th and 1, but still, you can't deny that was a bullshit. That was a game changer. That was one thing.
Well, and I mean, there is one thing, though, and I know as a fan of Detroit, I'm a little biased in the matter, but there has been abundance, as I've watched this season go on, abundance of calls that we don't get. And I don't know if that's just inept performance by the referees, or if that is an actual issue as far as there being a bias. But it does seem like as a team, we don't get a whole lot of love going towards us.
Well, I mean, when you look at the NFL season, referees have been a major storyline, and not just for Detroit. Every team has experienced something of bad refereeing, and I don't know how you. I think the way you solve it, first of all, the refs need to start being inept to be fined. That's a major thing. The refs are gonna. I think they'll do a better job of doing their job if they are eligible to be fined.
Now, the one thing I do want to address, though, is that maybe it's one of those things where refs have always been iffy, but now because we're able to see it with all the replay and all the other stuff, that we're able to kind of be able to be checks and balances. Where, I mean, it is one thing when a ref misses a call, but if it's one of those things where a whole crew of refs miss a call,
they just blew it.
It just seems goofy to me.
Another thing I think they could do to solve it is make penalties reviewable. It's a waste of time, I know.
I don't know. Yeah, that would make the game. If the games are already going towards 3.5, 4 hours long, the game, like, no one's going to want to sit there because every flag is going to be challenged. Almost every single one. It's going to be very rare. Things like pass interference would always get argued.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking shit like targeting, like in college, like head-to-head shots.
They don't even call that. There's no such thing as targeting in the pros. No. And I feel like targeting is a broken call anyway. I understand it's supposed to be a deterrent, but
it is.
I mean, it just seems
Michigan State last year.
Well, I mean, even going outside of our own teams, when I watched Joey Bosa get kicked out of his last game of his career,
that was stupid.
I felt bad for the kid because I didn't think it was a good call.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I'm also one that believes that if you're going to give him the 15 yards, give him the 15 yards. Don't eject the player, especially because you can't determine intent. Especially on a football field where everything's going 100 miles per hour.
I think the only way you eject them, you have to give them like another chance. If they do it again, then maybe, all right, you've been hit once for this. You've been warned. Get the hell out.
Yeah, kind of like two techs as an ejection.
Something like that. Okay. Anyway, we flew way off topic here.
No, but if we're kind of following in that same kind of direction, though, it kind of boils back down to the fact that teams like Seattle, I have noticed,
they do get the benefit.
Get away with,
they get the benefit.
Especially that Legion of Boom.
Fucking passer, that fucking roughing the passer call.
I mean, and especially when you look at the Legion of Boom, it does tend to seem like they don't get a whole lot of calls going against them.
They don't, yeah.
Now, this might be a person outside looking in, and I might be incorrect, as maybe because I don't watch as many Seattle games, but it does seem like, for what I have seen, they are very, very physical, and I feel like other teams would get in trouble for those things.
It could be the case. I mean, you look at like when Brandon Browner was in New England and he smacked that tight end in San Diego. You see the replay. He clearly hit him with his shoulder. Yet they still called a personal foul, unnecessary roughness. I think it was, which total bullshit. You know, and it's like defenseless receiver. He had the ball, took 2 steps. He was not defenseless. Kiss my ass. Cut me some slack here. No.
Now, going back to the game, though, I do feel when we look at Atlanta and Seattle, I don't think that Seattle defense is going to be enough to stop a team like Atlanta.
And back to Thomas Rawls, and I think and that you know when a lot of Lions fans are saying that it was all on the refs, you know what? Thomas Rawls ran all over him. 161 yards and 2 touchdowns? Something like that.
I don't know.
I don't remember how many touchdowns he had, but he had 161 yards. I know that. He ran all over him, and I don't know. I don't know how good Atlanta's defense is, if it's good at all or not.
It's kind of the middle of the road.
I know they got one good cornerback. I think Trufant is his name. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going with Atlanta. I'm taking Atlanta on this one. Let's wrap this up.
I am too. I'm taking Atlanta, especially since they're going to be at home. Right?
They're at home. They're at home. Yep. Up next, we have the Steelers going to Arrowhead to play the Chiefs. One of the more interesting matchups. I don't think Kansas City gets enough credit. I mean, everyone's like, "Ooh, they got lucky. They're number 2." No, they really didn't. They're a good team. They're legitimately a good team. I think they're a better team than people give them credit for. Everyone's like, "Oh, they suck. They're always getting lucky." You don't win a division like the AFC West by getting lucky. The only reason, only thing I can think of is Derek Carr getting hurt. That's the only thing I could think of.
Well, that and if you look at Denver didn't perform like they did last year either. That division did get worse.
Yeah, but Kansas City beat Derek Carr and the Raiders twice. So, I get fed up when I just get sick of people saying, they're not that good.
Yeah, Derek Carr also did the same thing Matt Stafford did and had to fight back 7 times.
Yeah,
the Raiders look good record-wise, but on paper they aren't that good.
Their defense was definitely suspect.
Then, and if you look at it, when you look at the matchup between the two teams, I definitely look at the quarterbacks, especially. I don't see Alex Smith being able to control the game like Ben Roethlisberger.
Alex Smith is a quarterback that can get the job done, but by no means do I think he's an elite. I think he's like, oh my God, what's a comparison I can throw him into?
He's essentially Joe Flacco.
Without the hype, without the hype, the bullshit. Elite quarterback. Oh, he earned that contract. Garbage. I don't give a fuck. Joe Flacco's not that good. The only thing he's got going for him, he's great in the playoffs.
Well, that's why they gave him the contract, is because of his playoffs.
Yeah, it's his playoff record. But getting there is such a hassle for the Ravens sometimes, and they weren't good this year.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, this is about Kansas City and Pittsburgh. When you look at Pittsburgh, you think of the big three: Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown. Big Ben, I think, is still the face of that team because he's been there for, since 2004, I think.
I don't think it's been somewhere around there, but I know
it's been quite a while.
But he also has the hardware to show too.
Exactly, he's got 2 rings, 3 appearances. He's got the experience. He's a good quarterback. Antonio Brown didn't show up until guys like Emmanuel Sanders and Mike Wallace left. And I'm not taking anything away from Antonio Brown. He's a great receiver.
Well, he's also young when you look at it.
He's 28.
That's
fairly
young.
Yeah, he's young.
NFL career.
He is young. For a receiver, he's in his prime. He's gonna do some big things. And Le'Veon Bell, what can I say that hasn't already been said? The guy is a great running back. A lot of people think he's the best in the league. That's arguable, but Kansas City, like I said, they're a better team than people give them credit for. They're at Arrowhead, which is a pretty difficult place to win in. At least I think it is. It's hard to go against Pittsburgh, but I'm going to take Kansas City. I really am. I'm going to go with the upset, not upset. I'm going to call it the upset, not upset, because I don't even know who the hell's favored in this game. So
I would assume Pittsburgh is, and I'm going Pittsburgh purely because of the fact, if you look at the last 7 weeks of football, Pittsburgh's had the best defense in the league in the last 7 weeks. They have been by far the best defense in the country.
Really? Because one of their fans in a Facebook group I have said their defense is trash.
Going in like I said, in the last 7 weeks, which when you look at the playoffs, it's not about how well you do the whole season; it's how well you finish and keep moving into the playoffs.
Yeah, they did.
The New York Giants that beat New England twice proved that. When you look at it, and you look at the fact that the 3 players that you named, Antonio Brown,
they're hard
Ben
to stop.
Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell. That right there gives me more than enough reason to think that they can control the game, move on slow, and then not let the Chiefs score. Because I don't have a reason to believe that they can score on Pittsburgh's defense at this point, because Pittsburgh's been playing really good football.
Well, if they can shut down Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, as well as Spencer Ware, they should be okay. But that's the thing about Kansas City. I think they're unpredictable. And it's hard for me to go against them. And it's also hard for me to go against Pittsburgh.
Well, then you're telling me they live and die by a quarterback that's mediocre as hell with Alex Smith. And
No.
I definitely sure as hell wouldn't take him over Ben.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying if Pittsburgh can stop Tyreek Hill and
how Travis
Spencer Ware.
Travis Kelce can't get in the game without Alex Smith.
And he'll find a way. I mean, I don't know. If that's true by that logic, if Kansas City shuts down Ben, then it's over.
They still have Le'Veon Bell.
If they could shut him down
Le'Veon Bell
too.
is degrees better than anyone on Kansas City's running backs.
Well, yeah, but this isn't running versus running. This is like...
Well, when you look at it, Pittsburgh is a lot more two-dimensional than Kansas City will ever be. So that definitely makes it easier, because when you look at it, Pittsburgh, who already is playing good defense, all they have to do is make the Kansas City Chiefs one-dimensional and make them pass the ball. And then you really think that Alex Smith is going to be able to win a shootout with Ben Roethlisberger? I don't think so. Especially when
it all comes down to if they can stop him. Like I said, Alex Smith, not an elite by any means. I think he's a quarterback that can just get the job done. And
he's a
Andy Reid's done some great things with Kansas City. So I don't know. I'm going with my gut. I'm going with Kansas City. And finally, we have Green Bay, Dallas. This is going to be a fun one. This is probably going to be the most fun to watch, I think. Now I know I made a top 10 favorite teams list. I know Green Bay made that list. Honestly, that list does not mean shit no more because the only teams that are consistent on that list for me is New England, Detroit, and I do like Seattle, but no, New England's still my favorite team. They always will be. Detroit's behind because they are my home team. So, I mean, I care about them too. Just by default. That's kind of why I'm hard on them because I want them to succeed. But, that list really doesn't mean a damn thing. So, I still get comments on that shit. It has more dislikes than likes. I really don't fucking care, honestly. I know you get better promoted, more likes. Honestly, if people hate me for my opinion, I don't... Whatever. It's whatever. Welcome to the internet. Anyway, Green Bay, Dallas. Like I said, this is probably going to be the most fun to watch. Green Bay coming off of a very dominating performance against the Giants. I took the Giants in that matchup. That was the only one I was wrong on last week. Anyway, Green Bay, Dallas. Well, I know you absolutely love Green Bay, especially their quarterback.
Yeah, that's some sarcasm in this video.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, all right. Well, I just want to get this out of the way. I think Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. I'm going to give him the credit where credit's due.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's done some great things. He is a great quarterback. That said, best quarterback to ever touch the field? No. Come on.
I would go as far at this point right now, he's not even the best quarterback in Green Bay history.
No. I mean, is he on his way? Potentially. He can land that. But to become the best quarterback to ever play the game, I think he's got a bit of a ways to go. We're talking, guys up there like Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
Tom Brady is the best.
Yeah, well,
there is no argument.
I agree with that.
At this point anymore.
I think so. 4 rings, 6 appearances, all the playoff records he holds. I mean, it's and maybe I'm just biased because I'm a Pats fan, but I don't really.
There is no bias there. I mean, he's tied for most Super Bowl wins. He has the most Super Bowl appearances, best playoff winning percentage, best regular sitting winning percentage,
most touchdowns in a Super Bowl,
most touchdowns in a season before Peyton Manning broke it.
His
wide receiver was the one that had the most touchdowns in a season.
To this day, still stands too, 23.
And I will go as far as saying that Brady made Moss, not the other way around.
Yeah, it could be.
No, I will say that. He won Super Bowls long before Moss came around.
That's true.
And he sure as hell didn't win one with Moss.
When you look at Tom Brady's list of receivers, look at Deion Branch after he left New England. What did he really do?
Nothing.
Yeah. You look at Troy Brown. He didn't really do much post New England. I don't think he ever left New England. Come to think of it,
no, I think he retired. Patriot.
There's a whole list, and then we see he finally gets a hold of a guy like Randy Moss, who was great, but just kind of needed a career resurgence, and they broke a record.
Then, if you really want to look at Tom Brady making wide receivers, you look at Wes Welker.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
But never was the same player.
Anyway, never was, but. Yeah. Anyway. This isn't about Tom Brady. Let's get to this because we're flying way off right here.
Yeah, we have been tangent.
We're flying off track, and I don't want to hear people bitching. Well, people are gonna bitch anyway.
Well, I'm sure that I have a very unpopular opinion
on the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Well, Green Bay, Dallas. Who do you got, and why?
I got Dallas purely on the fact that I'm sorry, I had to think about that for a second. On the fact that one, they have the best offensive line in the game of football.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you look at teams that win Super Bowls, or playoff games in general, you look at teams that can control the ball.
Yep.
And hold on to it. You sure as heck don't want Green Bay holding onto that ball at any point.
No.
So when you look at it, this matchup is very good for Dallas because if they can control the ball all day, that means Aaron Rodgers is on the field. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't get the score. and then I get to be very happy when they get eliminated. But when I look at it, I feel like Dallas definitely has the team to just control ball all day. They're the kind of team that could literally have 3/4 of the possession of a game, and it wouldn't be something that we're all that surprised over, which is really scary when you think about it. And honestly, when I look at it, Aaron Rodgers is good, but I don't think he's good enough to win a game like this, purely on the fact that, I mean, you do it to a couple teams, and all of a sudden you think he's a god again. It's like, I mean, the first half of the season, he blowed.
Yeah, he was not very good, and I know that because my dad had him on his fantasy team.
Well, you can just look at the results that Green Bay got. 4-6.
They were 4-6 to start the year, and they're riding a heavy win streak. Okay, let me just say this. This is going to be, like I said, probably the most fun game to watch all weekend because there's a lot going into this. Everyone bragging about Aaron Rodgers. You got Dallas with the Rookie of the Year, Ezekiel Elliott on that team.
Possibly Rookie of the Year and MVP.
Yeah, potentially MVP.
Because I would argue that Zeke might as well give him MVP. I mean,
it's
led
arguable.
The league in rushing yards.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, offensive line aside, I mean, rookie leading the league in rushing yards by far. There was no one close.
No, there wasn't anyone close to him. He did some astounding things, and you definitely have an argument. He's going to be Rookie of the Year. No doubt about that. I don't think there's anyone that had a better season.
Do you really think there's anyone in the secondary that can stop Dez Bryant? Let's be real.
Dez Bryant. On Green Bay, yeah. I don't.
Like, the only person I can think of is Clinton Dix, and I don't see him stopping.
Yeah, he's a safety. I don't know. Sam Shields is a above-average cornerback, but not... In my opinion, I don't even know. Is he a cornerback? I think he's a corner.
He's another secondary guy.
He's defensive back. He's a defensive back.
That much.
He's a good defensive back, but I think he's an above average, but not like elite. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. Green Bay is gonna have to bring their A game to get by Dallas. Now I'm not gonna go on a what's Tony Dungy-esque kind of thing and go, I think this is Dallas's year. I'm not gonna do that. Well, if I was going to do that, it'd be from New England. But, okay, so as for who I think is going to win this, I'm going to have to give it to Dallas. I just think Zeke is playing some great football. Dak Prescott had a pretty good season leading this team for a rookie quarterback. Dallas, as a team, they just look more complete to me than Green Bay. Green Bay, is Jordy Nelson playing?
I'm not totally sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if he is or not.
If his ribs are half as bad as they were making them out to be, I don't think so.
Yeah. Now, when you look at New York, let's look at that game real quick against New York. The Giants, they kind of imploded.
Yeah, they
had that party on that yacht. Well, OBJ did, which was a bit of a distraction apparently. Then they had that locker room meltdown. Eli Manning made some comments saying that something along the lines of if OBJ is going to keep bringing attention to himself, he needs to live up to it. I don't remember what was said exactly, but it was something along the lines of that. So that team kind of imploded, and they dropped a lot of passes. There was
OBJ didn't show up.
Yeah, they definitely underperformed.
Then people are going to automatically argue because of the fact that Green Bay beat New York and New York beat Dallas, that automatically Dallas can't win this game.
New York was the only team to beat Dallas. That's not how it works.
My rebuttal to that is one, it's playoff football, and two, that offensive line is definitely better than Green Bay's defensive line.
You also have to consider it's a rivalry game. Look at New York and New England when the Jets and the Pats played. The Pats could be 7-0 and the Jets could be 0-7, and you will expect a fight. It's a rivalry game. Giants and Dallas, it's a rivalry game. So, of course, the Giants brought and they had something to play for. They had a playoff spot. They wanted a playoff spot. They wanted the NFC East. They wanted the NFC East. They had something to play for. They had something to prove. And Dallas was getting all the attention. So, I mean, the Giants kind of had a chip on their shoulder. In this case, you can say Green Bay does because there are people that doubt them. But I think Green Bay gets a lot of attention. And there is no chip. You know, I mean, both teams have a chip on their shoulder. So I don't know why I said there's no chip. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Dallas just on the fact that I think their O-line is like a brick wall with concrete behind that and adamantium behind that. I know that's not real metal, but I don't really give a damn. You get the point.
I'm going with Dallas too, purely on the fact that Zeke and that offensive line is going to control the game.
Zeke's going to run all over them. Des Bryant's gonna have a good game. Hopefully not decided by a catch, no catch. We're not going to get into that. I'm going to go with Dallas.
Yep, me too. Definitely going to go with the fact that they're going to be able to control the game and keep the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands, which will be the difference maker.
All right, everybody, you've heard our opinions. You've heard us go off topic. You've heard us ramble. You may go ahead and let your opinions fly in the comment section below. And tell us what you think, how these games are going to go down. Don't be afraid to be honest. I know that's opening up for a lot of criticism and a lot of creative things, but I don't really care. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, smack the like button. It'll help me out a bunch. Subscribe to my channel. Check out my Redbubble page. Check out my Facebook page and my Twitter page. All that in the description below. And as always, have a great day. If you're not having a great day, I hope it gets better. Until next time, for Josh Thompson, I'm Dustin Crumley, and this is Cujo Productions, signing out.